Welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the Beth Israel Rabbi. As this is only Wednesday, and we usually send out 5 Minutes of Torah with the Beth Israel Rabbi on Friday, the reason that we're doing this is because of the uniqueness of the current Inyan Diyoma, the situation or the matter of the moment. Unfortunately, the Inyan Diyoma, the matter of the moment, the tragedy that is unfolding in Texas because of Hurricane Harvey, is one that is absolutely devastating and one that is gut-wrenching, and I know one that has caught everyone's attention for the moment. But I say unfortunately because we also know that even though it is the Inyan Diyoma, it is the matter of the moment, that such devastation will take many, many years to recover from. In a physical way, it'll be years before Houston is able to rebuild. And in an emotional way, I know that the residents of the city will be recovering for many years, and for a number of people for the rest of their lives. Also in a physical sense, as unfortunately many people have already lost loved ones and many lives have been lost in this past few days. This week we read Parshat Ki Tetzeh. This Parsha, this Torah portion, is in the book of Devarim, in the book of Deuteronomy, the last book of the Torah. Moses is in the midst of his valedictory, in the midst of his final speech to the Jewish people. And he's reviewing the laws that he has already given to the Jews while they were wandering in the Midbar, while they were wandering in the desert. And one of those laws is that when a person builds a new home, they should build a parapet on the roof, they should build a fence on the roof so that if there is someone walking, that they should not fall over, fall off, and get hurt, or God forbid, even killed. Sforno, an Italian rabbi and medieval commentator, says that this is to remind us that, God forbid, we should not even indirectly be responsible for the death of another human being. We should do all that we can to prepare, to try to ensure that no one is ever hurt on our property. We should do everything we can to prepare to ensure that damage does not take place because of our neglect. And yet, sometimes something happens that is well beyond our control, well beyond something that we could have prepared for. Something happens that is an event that is catastrophic. And that is exactly what has happened this past week with the hurricane in Houston and in Texas. Devastation that was not expected just days before, in which people were not able to even escape from the city. And the devastation and the pain and the waters continue ad hayom, until this very day. The other laws in this week's Torah portion, many of them are laws of compassion. In fact, the Torah portion begins by telling us that when we go out to war, that we should even deal compassionately with our enemy. And we learn in this week's Parsha once again about the law of Shiluach HaKen, of sending away a mother bird when going to a nest, whether if it is with animals or human beings, even people who are enemies, we must act with compassion. Kal v'chomer, all the more so with our friends of the Americans to our southern border, and even the Jewish community of Houston, our own family members, I know have been quite devastated, as the first communities to be affected by this hurricane were actually in the Jewish community of Houston. I know that all of us feel as though we want to do something today. We want to do what we can to help, to show our compassion, and that is critically important at this moment, in the days and the months, and even the years to come. And therefore, we at Beth Israel will do all that we can to help. And just to begin with, attached to this video are a couple ways that we can begin to help. One is an email and a link to a very important fund of a local family who has moved in the last few years from Houston who still have friends and family in Houston. Another is a link to the USCJ, to the Conservative Movement's Emergency Relief Fund, and other links as well. Thank you for your help, and I pray that indeed the suffering that we are seeing with our eyes at this moment will come to an end soon.